Today's case study is presented by Thomas Fox and Nathan Pegg. This case study is based on a player returning from injury in soccer, control and passing. Ball control is extremely important when it comes to soccer. It is important that players can control the ball and therefore pass it off quickly and effectively. The ball can be controlled by many parts of the foot, such as the laces, the outside of the foot, or even the sole of the foot. However, during this case study, we'll be focusing on the inside sole control. The main elements of ball control are being able to use the inside of the foot, as this has the largest surface area. We want the ball to be a nice soft touch when it hits the foot, and the ball not completely stopping. That way the player can then move to the next phase of movement. The main elements of a soccer pass should be: with the approach of the ball, the non-kicking foot should have the toes pointed directly in front. The eyes should be locked onto the ball, and the ball contact made with the striking foot should be with a locked ankle. The foot that is kicking the ball, we want the inside of the foot to be used, as this increases accuracy, and with that we're transferring our weight forward whilst we're kicking the ball.
These motor skills can be considered predominantly gross motor due to there being multi-limbs used, but also because there is ball manipulation involved. This is a discrete skill as there is a clear beginning and end, and it can be considered both an open and closed skill, as game environments can be unpredictable whilst training can be structured and predictable. Gentile's classification states that these skills require body movement and object manipulation. These can also be done in motion and stationary, and there can also be intertrial variability, and it can also be fixed. The participant's name is John, and he is returning from injury and is also allowed to return to ball work. He is currently within the getting the idea of the movement stage of learning.
The learning outcomes for John include fluid muscle activity. Skilled movement is the result of cooperative actions of muscle groups. Error detection and correction. Indicator of skilled progression is increased as the ability to detect and correct performance errors. And self-confidence improvements. As the learner becomes more skilled, their confidence in their ability to perform will increase.
There is no need for pre-testing, as the player has already completed muscle testing criteria prior to returning to ball work. Augmented feedback is used at the start and leads to more intrinsic feedback as the session difficulty increases, and it allows the practitioner to be more hands-on. It is applied and given a few seconds after a performance, and you need to ensure that time is provided for the athlete to develop their new plan of action. This type of feedback is applied within each practice session.
Faded feedback is an effective frequency reducing strategy. Initial stages, feedback is high, and once proficient, feedback is lower. Individual variance may occur. Faded feedback is used across the 4 weeks. Different learners learn in different ways. For example, John is a visual learner, therefore we'll be using keywords for visual learners such as see, look, watch, observe.
Within week 1, the focus is a simple pass in straight line, beginning with ground passes to set targets, then moving to the coach calling out the target, and then finally a target with the defender.
As we are using a faded approach, there will be more feedback in week 1 than the following. As seen in the previous video, the athlete made a mistake. So during this video, the coach will give feedback in a visual sense of what the coach wants to be seen from the athlete. The athlete miscontrolled the ball, so showing the athlete how to control the ball, moving the ball onto the opposite foot, and then passing with the sole of the instep on the kicking leg.
Within week 2, the focus is passing and receiving, moving from slow to fast, beginning with a slow jog followed by ground passes to a set target, then moving to a slow jog again with ground passes to a target directed by the coach, and finally with a fast jog followed by ground passes to a set target.
So I like what you did where you controlled the ball with the inside foot on the injured leg. What we want to do is let the ball come across you that little bit more. So when you turn, you can open up and then pass through. So just watch me and see what I do. So if you just roll me out the ball, I'll come to the ball, so roll it out, I'll let the ball come across, open up, and then I pass through. Yep. During the previous clip you can see augmented feedback is still being given, but due to us wanting to fade the feedback as the weeks progress, less feedback is given time after time. However, now the athlete is starting to achieve the desired result with the skill. As the athlete progresses through the drills, speed is wanting to be added to each drill. Therefore, there is a speed and accuracy trade-off. As speed increases, accuracy therefore decreases. As we can see, the athlete speeds up and pass accuracy diminishes.
Within week 3, the focus is passing with a teammate, beginning with a 2-touch pass to set targets and finally moving on to a 1-touch pass to vary targets.
That was good. You let the ball come to the injured leg, control it. You just want to open the body up a little bit more before you pass. Yep.
As seen in the previous footage, augmented feedback has been faded and therefore less feedback is given each time. As the week's training progresses, we want to challenge the athlete by moving him closer to Gentile's taxonomy's 16th box. By adding in 1-touch passing, the complexity of the drill therefore increases and it is closer representation of in-game situation.
Within the final week of this program, the focus are small-sided games to incorporate all the above weeks' worth of training. This can include a 4 to 6 player team game, which is representative of real game experience.
As small-sided games are representations of actual gameplay, feedback is kept to a minimum with 1 to 2 words or a maximum of 1 sentence. This therefore completes the faded feedback approach.
Within this 4-week program, it has been designed so that it starts from a more simplified box of Gentile's taxonomy, starting specifically at box 2, to move all the way down to box 16. Within this 16th box, Gentile's taxonomy is most representative of a soccer game. Within this 4-week program, whole practice was used as the level of the athlete's skill was not low enough to require any freezing of the degrees of freedom. Finally, within this 4-week program, variable practice has been used as it fosters the development of the learner's schemas, which ultimately results in long-term learning. Again, this variable practice aids in creating a representative soccer game environment, allowing for best learning for the athlete.